I remember when I was still in my I'm going to replace my mom and be like an even better version of the Pinterest mom phase of my grief. And I tried to make a bouche de Noël. Do you know what a bouche de Noël is? It's
No.
okay. So it's this redonkulous French cake that is
Mm.
rolled and filled and stuffed and then decorated to look like a log, complete with like meringue mushrooms and crap like that. So I tried to make that from scratch. I mean, what the fork was I thinking? I mean, those things are so freaking hard to make. Like, there's a reason, like, pastry chefs make them. It's like,
Did it
what?
bring you joy?
No, it
Oh,
absolutely
okay.
didn't friggin'
Then
bring me joy because
toss it.
I couldn't even get the damn cake to bake right. And then I started rolling it and it exploded. And I was like panicking, right? My husband's like, and this would be why I told you to just spend the ridiculous amount of money and buy it at the store. So, lesson learned.
Welcome to Drinks with the Girls. Conversations for women over 40 around connection, change, and the power of female friendship. Living well with stories to tell. I'm Karen, and this is Lisa.
We are moms and solopreneurs stepping into our own, diving into real conversations about things that matter to women in midlife.
We're here to spill the tea on everything that affects women in their 40s and beyond. Topics like loss and grief, changing relationships, launching kids, menopause, and reinventing ourselves in midlife. We are here to tackle it all.
Connect with us through a blend of our lived experiences, our friendship, the memory of our moms, plus a collection of real stories, honest conversations, and engaging interviews that will make women over 40 feel seen and remind them that they're not alone on this journey called life. Let's go. Welcome back, listeners. Yay, we're so happy to see you. So today we're diving into something we could all use this time of year, how to have healthier, happier holidays.
Oh, yeah. We've got tips for stress busting and keeping wellness in check without sacrificing the fun. Plus, we'll share personal stories. We all know the holidays come with both joy and chaos, but our goal today is to help you navigate it without losing your mind or your smile.
Oh, yeah. And before you think, oh my God, not another to-do list, please, sweet Jesus, trust us. You can trust us now at this point. We feel you can trust us. We're talking practical, doable tips. And yep, there's even room for a little indulgence because being healthy shouldn't mean being miserable, right? And because we always like to leave you with takeaways and actionable information, we have something we think is going to be super helpful for you all to get through the holidays in a happier, healthier way.
So, before we dive in, Lisa, what are you drinking today?
Okay. So to set the scene, y'all, it's 8 a.m. in the morning and it's pitch black and pouring rain here in Oregon. So if we sound a little creaky, this is not our normal recording time. It's usually the evening, but we're flexible here at Drinks with the Girls. So I have a drink here, and then I have my husband on the way to Starbucks to get me a reinforcement coffee. So I am drinking Clean Talks tea with an energy fizz stick, otherwise known as an Arbonne Tizzy. It's a milk thistle based tea that helps detox your liver and your kidneys. And then I have a mango peach energy fizz. And if you could look at Karen right now, she's trying to de-snarkify her face and not at all successfully.
I
Just
do
saying.
not have a good poker face. Girl, I have so many things to say about just what you just said, but
Please share.
I won't.
No, share. Hey, come on. We got to
So you're
share because
detoxifying your liver, and then you're going to get the Starbucks like Frappuccino, Bappuccino, Mappuccino.
everything in moderation. It's oat milk. Thank you very much. And it's going to be a blonde. And I've cut the sugar down. So, I'm cleaning my body out before I put shit in it. It makes sense to me.
I love it too because whenever I ask you what you're drinking, it takes a good 3 minutes.
And you're just like, I'm drinking.
I love you.
I love you too. What are you drinking, Levy?
Oh my God. I am drinking my favorite beverage in the world, hot coffee. And I'm actually I started doing a mushroom coffee. Well, it's kind
I've
of a
heard.
cheater
Yeah,
mushroom.
yeah.
Yeah. I add my mushroom coffee to my coffee. But instead of drinking like 5 cups of coffee that I would normally do, I just continue to add hot water a couple times. And so it's like I'm drinking a couple cups of coffee, but I'm not getting any extra caffeine or anything. So
I should send you some mushroom powder so you can just like
sure.
whisk it in there. All right.
Yep.
Moving right along in our 10-minute what are you drinking section that's
Right.
supposed to be 30 seconds.
All right. Let's kick it off with a lightning round. We haven't done this in a while, but your favorite animated Christmas special or holiday special?
So I'm going to go with the lesser known, of course, Rankin and Bass, because we all love our Rankin and Bass at the holidays. The Year Without a Santa Claus, because frankly, you just can't go wrong with the earworm sung by Heat and Snow Misers, followed closely by the classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And you?
Very good. I'd have to say Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
That's a good one.
What about your favorite holiday movie, just regular movie? Mine is A Christmas Story.
Okay, so last year we were in Colorado, and this hotel every year does this crazy, like, no joke, warehouse size room with ice sculptures. And they have a theme every single year, and everything is carved from ice. And guess what the theme was last year? A Christmas Story. We're
Oh, I love
talking
it.
ice sculptures like the house right down to the kid licking the pole and the dogs eating the turkey, all made of ice. It was
Wow.
unbelievable. I'll have to send you some pictures, but it was bananas. It takes them 3 months to do it every year, so you would have
Oh,
loved
I'm
it.
sure.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yes.
So for me, I saw a couple years ago one that was super fun called Violent Night with David Harbour and John Leguizamo. It's like kind of like Die Hard, but with Santa Claus. So super fun, and Beverly D'Angelo. Yeah, it was fun. So something different. Okay, next question. Favorite holiday song and or carol?
Hmm. My favorite Christmas carol is Oh Holy Night,
So beautiful.
always. And my favorite song, I mean, it just depends on my mood. I always have Christmas songs playing after December 1st, not before. I'm one of those people.
A
But I
level set.
really, yes, I love them all. But what comes to mind is Last Christmas by Wham, because who does not love George Michael? White Christmas by Bing Crosby, classic. And one of my favorites is the mashup duet by Bing Crosby and David Bowie, Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy. It's always a good one. But what about you?
Yeah, I like the traditional ones, but of course, my Backstreet Boys, love my Backstreet Boys, redid Wham's Last Christmas last year, and I was in heaven. I actually have a friend on Facebook who every year has this contest, and you have to go in. It's kind of like Christmas version of Killer, right? And so you go in there and you try to get through the holiday season without hearing Wham's Last Christmas. And then if you hear it, you have to post in the group that you're out. And it's hysterical in terms of what people
How
do to
fun.
avoid hearing. Yeah, it's really fun. So, yeah, so Last Christmas, but I love good call on the Bing Crosby David Bowie duet. It was so beautiful. It kind of bridges those classics with newer stuff. But I also love fun stuff like Adam Sandler's The Hanukkah Song too, as well. If you haven't heard that, it's great.
Oh, that is a fun one. Okay, next. What about favorite holiday memories growing up? Mine, I'll go first. Mine is probably when my sister got a horse for Christmas. So we were horse people growing up. We didn't play soccer, softball, or anything. We rode horses.
Yes, we did.
And so one year, my sister got a horse, and my mom tied him to the tree in the front yard Christmas morning. And my mom was a teacher. My stepdad was often between jobs, but you'd never know it. By the way, my mom just made the holidays so magical. But now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure my grandma helped her buy that little pony. But he was white with cute little black spots on his butt, and he had a big red bow around his neck. And I mean, the whole thing was like out of a movie, like what kid doesn't want to wake up and find a horse in their front yard on Christmas morning?
I can't even wrap my head around that. That's like, oh my gosh. I mean, that was like my fantasy.
Yeah, right. Especially for, I think, girls too, maybe boys. I don't know, but yeah, I think, yeah, it was pretty
That's
wild,
awesome.
and it wasn't even my gift. It was from my sister, but it was just such a fantastic memory. But
That's
I
crazy.
have to say, my mom loved being extra on holidays. Like, I'm sure she maxed out her credit cards to make everything happen, but like she loved the white flocked Christmas trees with that stringy tinsel everywhere. And it was such a mess and terrible for the environment. But we didn't know it back then, right? And it just made her so happy. But simple things like that remind me of my mom, and it makes me a little happier this time of year. It makes me feel close to her.
That's so awesome. What a fantastic memory.
What about
So,
yours?
so I would say mine has to be our just talk about extra. Oh my God. Okay. I've never loved my husband more. Everybody ready? You won't see this, but you'll feel this. Oh, the Starbucks just descended into my hand. I love you, honey. Bye.
Oh my gosh.
And breathe. Okay. Happy.
You're
At any
so
rate,
lucky.
I know. That was part of our wedding vows practically, was that he'd make me a cup of tea every morning. Cause I mean, when you're married to a Brit, like, hello, you gotta take advantage of when you can.
But
Anyways,
he goes out into the pouring rain
I
to go
know.
get you your
In the
Starbucks.
dark. I know.
We love him.
I know.
love
We
him.
totally love him. Squirrel. Okay, so Christmas Eve. Talk about extra. Holy Mother of God. We had this whole Italian thing going on because for those of you that don't know me, I'm half Italian. Like my great grandmother was off the boat, like half Italian. And so what we do is we lived in southern Los Angeles, which was north of where Karen was, but definitely not the valley and Hollywood and all that. So we would drive up there from our home and go to my aunts and uncles in the valley, and we would make the traditional Feast of the Seven Fishes. And my cousins and I would always put on some silly Christmas play, usually at my instigating, naturally, shocker. And then we would drive home afterwards when it was late at night, right? And I remember back in the days before mandatory car seats, oh my God, the things that we used to do. So we had a Mazda hatchback, and my parents would put the back seat down and they would make a little bed for us, right? And I would fall asleep watching the stars because, of course, I would be looking out the hatchback, right? And I could see the stars as we drive home because Southern California, right? Never rains. And I remember just desperately trying to keep my eyes open because I was going to spot Santa on the way home. And I always fell asleep every single time. But that feeling, it's instantly, I'm back there when I think about it.
I love that. That's so cute. I can just envision you just watching for Santa in the sky. Yeah, it's the memories like these, those little moments of magic that really make the holidays special, right? Is there something that is still a tradition for you that you guys do over the holidays every year?
So I have to be honest and say that is something that still holds a great deal of sadness for me, and I think it's because we had so many traditions that have fallen by the wayside. I mean, the Italian thing, like there is like clockwork with all the holidays, these huge from 4th of July, all of it, right? And as family members have come and gone or moved away, and as my kids have gotten older, that's kind of fallen by the wayside. But one of my favorite ones that used to happen was years ago here in town. There was a section of these redonkulous houses with massive multiple acre yards. Like we don't have McMansions up here. It doesn't work that way, right? But these houses were huge, like multiple acre yards. And they would put on these bananas light displays. Like I'm talking like every section of the house outline, like out on the lawn, like life-size crushes. Like it was insanity. And so we would always drive over there a few times during the season for the kids to see what they call them, the big lights, right? But they don't really do it anymore. Some of the houses have been sold. So again, that's kind of fallen by the wayside. What about you? I'm sure some similar things have impacted your holiday celebrations.
One of the things that what I did growing up that I carried on with my kids, and I think a lot of people might have this similar tradition, but we'd load up in the car, we'd grab a hot chocolate, and we'd drive around the neighborhood just looking for lights. And even when my kids were teenagers, we'd still try to do it, although it gets harder and harder with their schedules and that. But I just think it was so impactful on me as a kid and then as an adult, because it didn't have anything to do with money or racing around doing this or that. It was just literally all of us spending time together. And as my kids got older, times like that were just more precious because, it's hard to get teens to want to hang out with you sometimes. But this was just something that everyone loved. And it was literally so simple.
That's so awesome. Love it. But the holidays really are triggering, for me, for you, and for a lot of people. Frankly, it's such an amped up time in so many ways.
For sure. Loss and grief, relationship challenges, loneliness, financial strain, and I mean, just the overall stress, I think, especially for women. And, sometimes family gatherings can be complicated.
Yeah, no, for sure. One of my hardest holidays was right after my mom passed away. She passed away in October. So, Thanksgiving was, basically a month later, and it was brutal. I just remember we were like comatose. We didn't even cook. I think we might have even eaten fast food. It was crazy, so rough. And honestly, for me, one of the most difficult things about my mom's passing is that she was really the engine behind all of these huge holiday celebrations we used to have as a family. And they were very connected, very large, very traditional, and just lots of really amazing memories. And it's really just down to my immediate family now, my dad at this point. So it's one of the big reasons I'm super excited for my cousin to move up here. I can't wait.
I think that is so common. I think the women really are the glue holding everything all together. And I felt that too when my mom died. I mean, I was 26, newly married, like literally, I got married. Well, she died 6 days after I got married. So I was brand new
Oh my
married.
God, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, that was a whole other story. My name is Karen Shatafian, and I am a shameless coffee addict and empowerment coach for women, and my love language is authenticity. My mission is helping women unapologetically design a life they're in love with. Because what the hell are we waiting for? My website, KarenShatafian.com, has all my coaching packages and free offers, like my midlife reclamation guide. In it, you'll find tools to help you decide how to create the most inspired and empowered version of yourself and your life. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram talking about ways women can show up for themselves after decades of showing up for everyone else. Join me as we throw off the shackles and live our best freaking lives. See the show notes for all the details. Cheers. I was the oldest child, oldest daughter. So I tried to step into that role of like kind of keeping it all together, but it definitely took me time before I knew what I was doing. And everybody has their own emotions that they're dealing with, and kind of like some people don't even want to celebrate it. Like they don't want to do anything, right? So, one of my toughest holidays, although I mean that one was pretty rough right after my mom died, but one of my toughest ones was right after my separation. It was just a pretty chaotic time. My ex and I were going through all the emotions while still trying to keep a sense of holiday normalcy. But my kids were young adults, so they could like make their own decisions. And my daughter, she just dipped out altogether, and she went out of town with my ex sister-in-law's family. And my son spent Christmas Eve with me and then Christmas Day with his dad. And it was literally the loneliest Christmas day of my life. And it just breaks my heart thinking of my son, being the oldest, and his sister kind of leaves. And so he's here just trying to handle all the feelings. And, he never wants to let anyone down. So just trying to help his parents feel okay, when things were just definitely not okay.
Poor guy. God, that's hard. I can't even
Yeah.
imagine. Yeah, I mean, bottom line is I think we build the holiday season up to be such a defining like storybook thing, and when it doesn't live up to that, it's rough. Plus there's people out there that either have no family, toxic families, or some version in between, right? And the holidays just make that amplified. Family dynamics can make things tricky. There's just no doubt. And that's why setting boundaries is so important. You have to give yourself permission to say no to conversations or topics or even gatherings that push your buttons, and that can be a lifesaver.
Absolutely. Yes, for sure. And permission to not do all the things. I know there's a lot of pressure to make everything magical,
Mhm.
especially if you have children. But listeners, here's your permission slip to give yourself a break and to take some things off your list. And I just want to add a disclaimer here. If the holidays are hard for you, we see you. They honestly aren't my favorite time of year. And that sucks to say that. I want to feel happy and joyful and merry, but it just brings up a lot, kind of like we've talked about. Everything around us, from TV ads to Instagram posts, you show us perfect families with perfect homes and perfect holiday traditions. And that is an impossible standard to live up to. And I think a lot of people struggle at this time of year for a multitude of reasons. And listeners, we want you to know that it's okay. It's okay to not feel merry and jolly at this time. And it's okay to not feel like this is the happiest time of the year. It's honestly a time that people struggle a lot with loneliness and depression. So if this is you, we see you. And please, please don't be afraid to reach out for help or support.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Agreed, agreed. So let's switch gears a bit and explore how other cultures celebrate the holidays, because it's often super inspiring to see different ways that people find joy and avoid stress. So Karen, what do you got for me from the
Oh my
Drinks with the
gosh.
Girls research?
This is my favorite. Did you know in Japan, Christmas is more like Valentine's Day? Couples go out for romantic dinners, and KFC
Nice.
is the thing to eat. People pre order buckets of fried chicken months in advance. Like, this is right up my alley. Not spending hours shopping, prepping, cooking, and cleaning. Just order KFC. Sign me.
That's probably what we should have done that Thanksgiving after my mom passed away. But yeah, no, I love that idea. Just order food, DoorDash it, and skip the stress of cooking. So another one is in Iceland. They have the Yule lads, who leave gifts in shoes. I've had some gifts in shoes before, but from my dogs and my cats. Those aren't the kind of gifts anybody wants. Anyways,
God.
but if you're on the naughty list, you get a rotten potato. Oh my God. That's crazy. So, and of course, in Italy, from my peeps, there's the Feast of the Seven Fishes, and my family still does a miniature version of this. We're like eliminating fishes yearly. I think we're down to like the 2.5 fishes feast at this point, but it's one of my favorite traditions. And the stories my dad tells of how they used to do it are bananas, right? So they would start. My great grandmother lived in Hollywood in this old, there's a famous kind of style in old Hollywood where she had this huge riverstone porch out in front, and it's kind of this bungalow, and it's a pretty unique style because of course now they've made room for all sorts of other prefab stuff. But at any rate, I have some memories there, but they're when I was really tiny. So they would start cooking. And when I say they, it was all the women, naturally. They would
Yes.
start cooking 2 weeks before, legit 2 weeks before, right?
I'm already tired.
Dude,
Tired just hearing that.
we're talking cannoli shells from scratch. Like, no joke. Okay. Like all of the things, right? And then the celebration itself would go into the wee hours of the night and sometimes through until Christmas Day. And again, we even made those homemade cannolis. I say we, but from scratch. My great aunt would do it. We got to fill them. That was about all we were good for. And honestly, by the time I was a young adult, like I remember that's still the thing, like is some people in my family will make them and freeze them. And that's kind of like our nod to what it was. But yeah, it was bananas bonkers.
That sounds so fun. I love it. I think it's important that we remember that the holidays are supposed to be about joy and having fun. And if they're not fun, like what's the point?
Hello.
You know, I think the holidays can leave women, especially feeling drained and burnt out if we're not careful and if we're not intentional about it. Because remember, it's our holiday too.
Amen, sister. Yeah, one of the biggest game changers for me was when I gave myself permission to rethink our traditions and to try to establish new ones. It's such a triggering season for me that I've really had to rethink a lot of it. And sometimes just bailing, like your daughter did and dipped out, right? Just get out of town, traveling. That has helped me reset a particular holiday. And I get that. I have privilege. I can do that. But just doing something completely different has helped me sometimes when I can't deal.
I think the key word that you said is permission. I think for us as women, as the chaos tamers and the ones holding everything all together, I think it's important that we give ourselves permission to kind of let go of some of these things and figure out, you know, what change could I make that would still make me and my loved ones happy? I think one important self-care tool during the holidays and really any time for me is movement. And I'm not going to say exercise because I can already hear our listeners like, how the heck do I have time to exercise during the holidays? And believe me, I would say the same thing if I heard myself saying that. And I felt that way too. I tend to overcomplicate exercise and, you know, thinking, okay, if I'm not on my spin bike or lifting weights, that it doesn't count. But now I just focus on simply moving my body in a way that feels good, like a morning walk outside, especially like now it's finally in Southern California, the temperatures are cooling off. And when it's crisp and cold, I just love that. It just helps get my blood pumping and my brain moving, my brain thinking.
So, let me tell you, listeners, at 8 a.m., recording the podcast is a miracle. Just saying, for both of us.
But I also love a good dance party.
Oh, yeah.
I have a sign in my kitchen that says this kitchen is for dancing. And so I always have the music on in there. And it's also one of the ways I give myself a break during my work day. Like I'll stop for like 10 minutes and just literally give myself permission to have a little dance party.
I love it. Getting outside for fresh air, even when it's freezing, makes such a difference in your mood. We're kind of challenged here because in Oregon in the wintertime it rains a lot. And we also get big ice storms. We don't get a lot of snow. We get like fun snow. Like it shows up for 3 days and leaves. It's the ice that's a bugger. And it can be challenging to get outside. So I'm trying to push myself more to do that, even when the weather isn't cooperating. But it's not easy, especially on days like today where you're like, oh, it's pitch black and it's bucketing down rain. Okay.
Time for a dance party.
I love it.
Another big one for me is sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And I've learned to prioritize my sleep. And this is kind of radical, I think, for women to prioritize sleep and rest, even during the holiday chaos. I've gotten really good over the last year or two to make sure that I get at least 7 hours of sleep at night. And not every night, and some days are different, but once I consciously started prioritizing my sleep, it made a difference. And the key is to not feel guilty about it. The key is to figure out how much sleep do I really need and then make it happen. It might mean going to bed a little bit earlier and leaving some things undone, or it might mean not binging 5 episodes.
Imagine that.
Right? And I mean, I think especially because our sleep is so jacked anyway, because of perimenopause and menopause, it's like sleep is more important than ever.
I went to a particular integrated physician who was like, sleep, number one thing in midlife. You have to get more sleep. And yeah, that's a whole other podcast episode. But at any rate, yeah, I ended up finally giving in a while ago because I literally was not sleeping, like not just during the holidays, like never. And I was a basket case, like I was crazy time, right? And I take prescription sleep meds. Lack of sleep is just something that I have had to put my foot down and do it because it just wrecks me, right? And so ever since I've done that, they're a specific kind, it has really, really helped me. And I don't need that extra worry especially during the holidays.
Hey, Fabulous Drinks with the Girls listeners, guess what? We have something exciting happening here at Drinks with the Girls. We have a way for you, our listeners, to be involved. We would love you to be a part of our Drinks with the Girls support team. Creating a sisterhood of empowered women is our goal, and we are so grateful you are here. But we need your help to grow this incredible community that we have a big and bountiful vision for.
You can help us get the word out about Drinks with the Girls because we want all women to feel the support of our powerful community behind them. Here's what you need to do. Go to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe or follow Drinks with the Girls if you haven't already. We need you to share every episode we put out.
We would love for you to do this, especially when a particular episode resonates with you and or brings to mind someone you care about that you think would benefit from listening to it. Share with a girlfriend via text, share to your email newsletter, share on your socials, share from the rooftop. Every share is a chance for all women around the world to feel connected and supported by our Drinks with the Girls sisterhood.
The other thing you can do is officially join our Pod Squad email list. That will help you in 2 ways. First off, every time a new episode drops, you'll get an email with info on the topic, so it reminds you to tune in and listen with an easy to follow link. But it's also an easy format to hit forward on and share with some of your favorite people so they can easily access the newest episode. That link is always included in our show notes for you.
We are so excited to have you as part of the Drinks with the Girls Pod Squad support team. We are all in this together. Cheers.
Cheers.
Lack of sleep just makes us not our best selves. And I just want to say too, props to you for recognizing what you needed and for doing it, even if it means, taking something. Because I think as women, we're like, oh no, I'm just going to power through and I'm, but fuck that. I mean, we're at the stage in our lives where we can do whatever it takes to prioritize our well-being. And even if that means, taking something, whether it's, for depression, anxiety, sleep, whatever it is, it's like, just do what works.
Yeah, it's weird because right before I said that, I a lot of times when I tell people that, they just kind of look at me, right? And so I think I'm clearly over it because I'm taking them. But there's definitely this thing where people kind of try to shame you. And it's like,
yep.
I promise you there's ways to do this that aren't bad. And let me tell you, you don't want to see me sleep deprived. It is not a pretty encounter for anyone involved. So people just need to back up. Just saying. So,
yeah. And here at Drinks with the Girls, we are shame busting, things like that. So we are not going to shame women for doing whatever they need to do to prioritize their health, their mental health, and their well-being.
Hear, hear.
And, I love Scheduling little self-care rituals like and I like to call it self-indulgence. I think self-care has just become this watered down thing. I like saying self-indulgence, but a lot of women have a hard time with that word. So, anywho, but like just like little rituals like a massage. And I've just started doing this. I just signed up for a subscription with a local masseuse to get a massage every month because I've been in pain for 6 months. I've had back pain for 6 freaking months. And why do we feel like we have to suffer through
I'm
before
telling
we
you.
act? Yeah, it blows my mind. And I preach this shit. Like, what's going on? But anyway, little self-care rituals I think are super important, even if it's just like getting coffee with a friend, drawing a warm bath. Sometimes I even just light a candle or put on really soothing like jazz music while I'm in my office. And that just makes me feel like I'm indulging myself just a little bit.
I found literally the perfect Christmas present for you the other day. And don't get all stressed out. It's not a big thing, but I was like, oh my God, this is like self care on steroids. I have to get this for her. So I'll just
Ooh,
leave you in suspense.
ooh, love it. Can't wait.
The other one is hydration, right? It is so easy to forget to drink water. I mean, here I am drinking my coffee bucket, but I did my clean talk, so it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it's easy to forget to drink water when you're running around all day, but staying hydrated is an easy way to keep your energy up and prevent burnout.
Totally. I think staying hydrated is like sleep. Like
Mm-hmm.
these are things that are so easy to do. I mean, in air quotes, easy. Simple, let's say that. So simple, but makes such a huge difference. I have a water bottle with me all day. I'm really good when I'm at home.
Yeah.
And I try to remember to take it with me when I go out too. But I feel such a difference when I'm not drinking enough water.
Yeah, I have left water bottles in like every airport known to man because I'm like militant about taking it with me when I travel because I travel a fair amount, not as much as I used to for business, but yeah, I've I've left my calling card in so many places. The other thing I do is try to have some healthy snacks on hand so I'm not starving when I go to like a holiday party because that just makes it harder, right? And it makes it a little bit easier to enjoy the treats without going overboard. It helps balance things out, right? And with food, just in general, I try, emphasis on try, to follow an 80-20 rule. So eat healthy like 80% of the time and enjoy treats the other 20%.
I love that because it's not like total deprivation because
Mm-hmm.
all that does is make people cranky.
Mm-hmm.
Something else that's super helpful during the holidays is saying no. You do not have to attend every holiday event or say yes to everything. It's okay to skip things that drain your energy. And you don't have to do all the things. Set boundaries with yourself on this and say no to the tasks that suck the life out of you. Pick and choose the things that bring you joy and ditch the rest.
Oh, yeah. It's really honestly about choosing what feels good for you. So some days that might mean going to a holiday party. Other times it's curling up with a book and ignoring the world. I remember when I was still in my I'm going to replace my mom and be like an even better version of the Pinterest mom phase of my grief. And I tried to make a bouche de Noël. Do you know what a bouche de Noël is? It's
No.
okay. So it's this redonkulous French cake that is
Mm.
rolled and filled and stuffed and then decorated to look like a log, complete with like meringue mushrooms and crap like that. So I tried to make that from scratch. I mean, what the fork was I thinking? I mean, those things are so freaking hard to make. Like, there's a reason like pastry chefs make them. It's like,
Did it bring you joy?
no, it
Oh,
absolutely
okay.
didn't friggin'
Then
bring me joy because
toss it.
I couldn't even get the damn cake to bake right. And then I started rolling it and it exploded and I was like panicking, right? My husband's like, and this would be why I told you to just spend the ridiculous amount of money and buy it at the store. So, lesson learned.
But another way we can really protect our peace is leaving early from events if we want to, right? There's no rule that says you have to stay till the bitter end of every event.
Yeah, I love that, right? And here's something radical. What if we let go of some of the holiday perfection? Like, instead of hosting a big fancy dinner, what if everyone brought a dish that made them happy, right? A potluck could be a nice potluck, right? But make it stress free. We're kind of starting to do that a little bit more with some friends locally for Thanksgiving, and it's been really nice.
I've always been the Thanksgiving hostess for my extended family with parents and siblings, kids, grandkids. We've always had usually a minimum of 20 people. I think this year will be like 35, but I always do a potluck. I mean, and if you guys don't know, listeners, cooking is not my jam. It's not my thing. But I used to try to do everything to make the holidays perfect, and honestly, I just burned myself out trying to live up to that standard. And by the way, it was my own standard. Nobody was like forcing me to do all this stuff, right?
Why am I not surprised that we
Yeah.
do that?
Yes.
Shocker.
Yes. But after my divorce, I just really wanted to be with my kids, and other close family members, of course, but it just drove home the fact that nothing else really matters except the people we love.
Yep. And I think giving yourself permission, there's that word again, to
Mhm.
make new tradition helps too. And we can let go of the things that feel heavy and keep the parts that bring you joy. That's okay. It's okay to evolve your holidays as life changes.
I love that so much. Let our holiday traditions evolve. And here's a crazy thought. We can also let go of some of the traditions altogether. I know that one thing that's really helped me is celebrating Thanksgiving and Christmas before the actual day with my kids, like letting go of the idea it has to be on the actual day. And that way they don't have to split their time or feel guilty about leaving to go to their dad's house, their significant other's family's homes. It just makes things so much easier for everyone. And selfishly, I don't have to share them with anyone on those days. They're all mine.
I just love that idea. It's so simple and so brilliant, and it just takes so much pressure off, especially for families who have to juggle multiple households.
Yeah, I think really examining the traditions and the tasks that we do and deciding what brings joy for everyone, including us, and toss the ones that don't. Be deliberate about the holidays and just hold on to the important things will just make everything so much more stress free.
One of the things I've been trying to do more is practicing gratitude, just more intention based than anything else really during the holidays. So even small things like running into a friend or enjoying a really good cup of coffee, but just freaking slowing down for 5 bloody seconds to just take in the moment, right? Because it's this like baton death march from like the minute today.
Today starts the death march.
Yep, exactly. It's crazy, right? So I've tried to do that to just to help myself just kind of slow down and take it in.
Yeah, I really love that. And I start my day journaling normally most days, and this just really helps me get my mind set for the day and to help kind of clear things out and just set me up for success. And it just helps me center myself. This is especially important for me at the holiday time because things do get so chaotic. And I try to add a little gratitude in there, just be thankful for even the small things, right? And it just helps me appreciate things about the holidays that I might not normally take time to stop and, give thanks for. Like instead of being frustrated with, lines, if you're out shopping, just be thankful. I have money to, buy gifts with in the first place.
Yeah, for sure. It's really about, like I said before, kind of finding the joy in those everyday moments. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Oh, for sure. And can we just not forget our health as
Oh, yeah.
women during this time? Like we tend to just get so run down because we're just doing so many things anyway. But holidays are prime time for like all those germs, colds and flus. And honestly, nothing ruins the season faster than getting sick.
Yep.
So, like, just remember the basics, like washing your hands and keeping hand sanitizer and sneezing in your elbow or whatever, because nobody wants to take home more than leftovers from the holiday table.
Yep. Now, I swear by my probiotics, prebiotics, and digestive enzymes, and that helps to keep my system in balance. And I get my flu shot every year. It's one less thing to worry about. I've also learned the hard way that overdoing sugar for me is just a recipe to get super, super sick. And so I have honestly cut way down on it, even when it's not the holidays, right? Like I know we were laughing about my coffee earlier, but like I don't get like the full sugar deal. And now that I've cut it back, I find a little goes a long way. Like I can taste it more, right? So I don't need as much. And I still have a treat now and again, right? Like this is a treat, but I'm not going crazy with it, right? But I honestly find that I don't miss it nearly as much as I thought I would. And holy crap, it's just so nice not to be getting sick constantly.
That is an amazing hack. And I think it really takes being in tune with your body, but finding out what foods make us feel like crap and then limiting those. But also, self care doesn't have to mean bubble baths or fancy spa days. It can be as simple as taking a walk, cutting out sugar, drinking enough water, or just saying no to the things that don't serve you.
Yeah. One of my favorite self-care rituals, and it sounds like it's one that you've recently discovered, is going for massages every month. I get it every 3 weeks, and I get mani-pedis every 3 weeks. And I love it for a lot of reasons, but not the least of which is it's like a set appointment, right? So I can't easily blow it off for the myriad of shit that comes up in my life, just like most busy people, right? Like it's a set appointment. So I can't be like, oh, I shouldn't do that, right? And that has been just a wonderful way to just force myself to just stop and chill.
Yeah, no, I love that. And that's why I did similar. I got that subscription. And, let's just pause here again and say, we recognize we are privileged to be able to do things like this for our self-care, and not everyone is. And we acknowledge that. But I think too, something else that I do is I go and lay in my hammock. I have a hammock.
Hammock time is
And
the best.
I never knew how amazing hammock time was until I moved to my property and I got a hammock. And, it took me so long to give myself permission to give myself a damn break and rest, right? Just to go get up in the middle of the workday and just go lay in my hammock for 10 or 15 minutes. Like I had too much guilt to do that before. Like I would never let myself. It's like I had to earn, air quotes, my rest, right? Instead of just recognizing, hey, I need a little break right now. And, the mindset that you have to earn your rest or your sleep is bollocks.
You've pretty much just adopted that word now, haven't you?
I have, yes.
I love it. I'm glad my British husband has helped you to expand your vocabulary. We want to keep the lifelong learning going here at Drinks with the Girls. So scheduling those little moments on the calendar makes a huge difference too. If it's written down, it's more likely to happen, whether it's coffee with a friend or a yoga class. I've started doing that the last few weeks because I'm trying to increase the amount of time I do yoga. And it's not far away, but it's not just like next door, right? So it's easy just to kind of blow it off. So the last few weekends, what I've done, like by Sunday, is I look and see and I schedule in 2 classes in the week that work with my work schedule and everything else. And it's really helped me increase that. So I'm finding that that's super helpful. My name is Lisa Corachella McDowell, and I'm not just a healthy smoothie girl. Check out nextlevellifewithlisa.com, my website and centerpiece for all that I do. Connect with me about my free classes, the fabulous health and wellness products I have, literacy work, special education advocacy, and social media. I try to live my truth and put it all out there authentically. And for a special offer, go to nextlevellifewithlisa.com/podcast for some exclusive goodies for my Drinks with the Girls listeners. See you there. So I want to jump into one more important topic before we get to our final takeaways. And I want to share something special for our listeners, and that's how to have holidays that are kind to the planet as well. The planet needs to be happy and healthy too, because, honestly, the holidays are one of the most brutal times of the year for our planet, and we clearly do not need any help abusing it at this stage of the game. There is a tremendous amount of waste, from wrapping paper and cheap plastic. Wrapping paper can't be recycled, by the way, that end up in landfills, food waste, which leads to all sorts of bad things, and even higher electrical loads, which tax resources and can contribute to global warming. So, Karen, what are some waste busting trends that you've noticed at the holidays?
Well, I think this is such an important topic, and you don't hear about people talking about it that much because, it's going to impact the merriment of everybody. I think to have to think about the environment when you're trying to bake cookies or whatever. But about 10 years ago, I bought these cute heavy duty boxes from Michael's, and they're already like decorated. So we use and reuse them every year. And this cuts way down on wrapping paper. I think certainly people using the artificial trees with the LED lights has to help. But I have to say here, I will never, ever, ever, ever use a fake Christmas tree. This is a hard line I draw in the sand. I take that back. Tony, when he and I got together, he had an artificial tree. So we do 2 trees. We do an artificial tree and a live tree for me, because I don't know, that's just something that's hard for me to let go of.
Okay, intervention time. So
I know.
Okay, no, seriously, I have to speak to you, girl, because listen, I was firmly in that camp for the longest time. Like, I was like, oh, hell no, I'm never doing that. That's crazy. Like, that's just like the last vestige of the holidays that's going to be stripped from me. Right. And honestly, my family literally staged an intervention with me. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, I swear to God, we were all in the room and they're like, well, let's vote. And I was like, oh, yeah, I got
Oh,
this. And they all
no.
were like, no. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? They're like, Mom, no, we're not going to
It
do
is
it.
not a democracy in my house when it comes to this decision. I'm sorry.
I was like, oh my God, this is awful. Right. So I was like completely resentful, like found one on sale. I'm like, I'm going to hate this. This sucks. Okay. I'm telling you, it's the best thing ever. Okay. And it's not these old, like crappy looking, like, dime store, like touch
No,
the
they're
bristle
gorgeous.
and you're
Some
like the
you can't
ones.
even tell.
Oh, it's bananas, right? And they're not ridiculous, especially when you look at the price of Christmas trees these days. But
Yes.
it takes like 5 minutes to put up. It doesn't drop needles and it never needs water. It looks amazing. And I get my little sensory joy, because that's really what it was about for me, by diffusing
Yeah.
like wax melts and oils and that lovely pine foresty smell. I swear to God, it's one of my favorite hacks now. I thought it was crazy too for the longest time. The other one we'll do is kind of similar to what you guys do, and we just reuse gift bags. And we have post-its, right? And we write the person's name on the post-it like a gift tag, and then we just kind of tuck it inside the bag so it doesn't fall out. It's great. And I tell you what, as someone that does not find the joy in wrapping gifts, because of course, oh mom, you're gonna wrap the gifts. My dad even tried to get on that train. Like, will you wrap my gifts for me? Like every freaking year. It's like, no, right? And then of course, I have the ghost inspector of my mother who, no joke, worked at Macy's for extra
Mm.
money wrapping presents. Okay. No stress there to live up to that. Right. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Well, I am engaged to an OCD man who literally, and they're gorgeous. Like you get a gift from him if he's wrapped it, and it's like you don't want to open it because every
Dang.
line is matched up. Every design on the paper is matched up. It's incredible. And I'm the opposite.
How about if I mail my gifts to Tony?
Totally.
And like I'll pay him in his favorite beverage. Like it is worth it to me, like literally, right? But
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, right? It's really about rethinking how we do the holidays with an eye towards being kinder to the planet and what is left behind when the holidays are over. That's the bottom line. And it goes honestly hand in hand with the theme of this episode in terms of keeping what really matters in the forefront at the holiday time. And again, I hope everybody is still with us at the end, because we have a fantastic event that I'm going to talk about that will really help with the ideas of healthier, happier holidays for you and for the planet.
So listeners, this is the point where we tell you that we want to hear from you. What are your favorite self-care rituals during the holidays? How do you make the holidays a little less chaotic and more joyful for you? And what are changes you've made over the years to make your holiday traditions kinder to yourself or kinder to the planet? Tag us on social media with your tips. We'd love to share them in a future episode.
Yes. As we've said before, this is a community that we're trying to grow here. And community is give and take, right? So every time we hear from you guys about a suggested episode or a comment or all that, it's just, we love that, right? We're all in this together, and supporting each other can make the season so much more joyful and balanced.
Yeah, every time you guys reach out to us and suggest an episode or give us feedback, we do a little happy dance. So keep them coming. And for sure, Drinks with the Girls, we want women to know that they're not alone in the holiday madness. So don't forget to give yourself permission to take care of you. The holidays can be whatever you want them to be. And I know this is a radical thought, but they don't have to be perfect. They just have to feel good to you too, not just everyone around you.
Yeah. And letting go of some of those old expectations can actually make room for new, meaningful moments. It's really about showing up as your best self. And you can't do that if you're running on empty. As we continue to harp on, self-care isn't selfish. It's essential. I've started to do things like, okay, we were joking about the tree, but that was right. I mean, it backfired on me, but ask my family which holiday traditions are the ones that are really important to them, right? And which aren't. There's so many things that I've just killed myself to do that turns out they don't care all that much.
Yeah. When I was a younger mom, I just felt this pressure, like I had to do all the things. But now I just focus on the moments that matter, and I give myself permission to cut out all the holiday tasks that I don't like or that don't feel good or that honestly, yeah, nobody would miss. Just literally focusing on the joy. And listeners, I want you to notice the difference here between getting joy from your role as like the caretakers and the merriment makers versus getting joy out of something because it genuinely makes you feel good. I think this line gets blurred a lot for women, especially during the holidays, because we're conditioned to get happiness from serving others. And this is okay sometimes, but we are whole ass humans that have other ways to create joy and receive joy besides just making other people happy. So, Lisa, I know you have something fun you're doing and you want to invite our listeners to. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
I'm so excited. So I am doing one of my famous cook dinner while you listen. No need to be on camera, in your sweats or PJs. Totally worth your time. Free webinar entitled Healthy, Happy Holidays for You and the Planet. And it's taking place on Thursday, November 14th. So in almost a couple weeks at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to share all sorts of awesome tips on how to be good to yourself and the planet this holiday season. I am talking Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, and New Year. So all of them, right? I'll give you tons of actionable tips, lots of resources, recipes, all sorts of things. So please join me because it's free. The whole thing is free. You just have to register, right? So I will, of course, put the link in the show notes. And as a special freebie stress reducer, everyone who registers gets my famous annual gift guide. So this is something I've done for the past 3 years. And I collaborate with other women-owned businesses and craft artisans, and I curate this guide every year. And I bring it to all my clients and I give you recommendations for everything, right? I've got them grouped to whoever you want to buy for, all sorts of price ranges, like literally all of it, right? And I even give you some recommendations from Yield Amazon to round it out. You can literally take care of your entire list with this guide and support some really cool small businesses in the process.
That sounds so amazing. So, listeners, be sure to take her up on this. And as we wrap up, we encourage you to create your own self-care plan for the holidays. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just pick 1 or 2 things that resonate with you and commit to them.
Yeah, maybe it's as simple as getting enough sleep. Hello, shocker, right? Or taking a 10-minute walk every day. Small steps can make a big difference.
So, Lisa, what are 1 or 2 things you want our listeners to take away from this episode?
Honestly, I think it's really about stepping back and taking a huge, deep breath. Say it with me, right? Give yourself space and time to realize all the crazy making that we as women tend to do at the holidays isn't necessary. Half the time we just do it to ourselves. For years, the idea of doing a fake tree was just awful to me. And Karen's still in that camp, but that's okay. That's okay. And now I'm like, what can I do with all the spare time I have now that I'm not sweeping up freaking needles, like contorting my back to water the dang thing, and then having to clean up all the water everywhere afterwards, right? Like, really sit down and figure out what's important and also what your friends and family really want to do during the holidays. I am willing to bet that they will trade out those 16 kinds of home baked artisanal Christmas cookies that you've made every year for more time with you as a relaxed and enjoyable person to be around. How about you, Karen?
Amen to that. I think I want to be sure that women are giving themselves permission. I know we sound like a broken record, but it's an important word. Permission to prioritize your own joy, not just the joy of everyone around you. And sometimes this means making radical changes, but in the end, it will help you appreciate the holidays more because you aren't burnt the fuck out. And guess what? You being relaxed and happy makes the people around you happier too.
Shocker.
Right? The other thing I want women to remember is if the holidays are a triggering time, like it is for us, don't watch or listen to or be with people or the things that drain you or make you feel worse. If the holidays are a hard time for you, set yourself up with support ahead of time. Reach out to people you love. Turn off the damn Hallmark holiday channel. Plan things. Sorry, I have friends that love that channel. Love you guys.
God, I can't. Love you. Mad props, but oi.
Right. And plan things that make you feel good, even if it's not like the traditional holiday things, right? And definitely reach out for professional help if you are really struggling. There is no shame in needing or asking for support.
Hashtag reserve the bucket of KFC. Just
Yeah.
saying. Like,
Mm.
I don't know. I may need to like fold that into a holiday tradition somewhere in there. I think that's genius. So all the things, don't do all the things, but all the things. So thank you so much for joining us on Drinks with the Girls. We hope you found some inspiration today and maybe even a new idea or two to try out this holiday season. I hope to see everybody on the 14th because I think it's going to give you some really fantastic ideas. And like I said, register. I'll put it in the show notes, the link.
Sounds good. And don't forget to tag us with your holiday stories and your self-care rituals, your self-indulgence rituals. We'd love to keep this conversation going. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please hit subscribe, share with a girlfriend, or leave a review, or maybe do all three. The more women that feel supported and maybe even a little inspired by Drinks with the Girls, the better. And we need you to help us get the word out.
Oh yeah, big announcement. We're now in 14 countries, people. Spain just joined the party. Like, whoop, whoop. So until next time, happy holidays, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.